The Swedish angel is ready to tell her most scandalous secrets. At 75, Agnetha Fältskog sits with the confidence of a woman who has nothing left to hide. That golden hair still frames the face that launched 1,000 fantasies, but tonight there's no shy ABBA smile, no innocent sparkle. Tonight she's in the mood to shatter every wholesome image the world has ever had of her. The interviewer leans forward with a mixture of excitement and nervousness, asking the question that's haunted pop culture for decades. Agnetha, you were one of the most desired women in the world at the height of ABBA's fame. But tell us, which men tempted you the most? Her lips curl into something that's pure trouble, eyes lighting up like she's been waiting years for someone brave enough to ask. Oh, darling, you want the list, do you? At my age, why pretend anymore? I've sung about dancing, about heartbreak, about love. But there were times when I was thinking about something far less innocent. She leans in, shameless, her voice dropping into a husky purr that would make grown men weak in the knees. These weren't crushes, sweetheart. These were fantasies. Hot, sweaty, shameless fantasies. Men who made me want to forget the choreography, rip off the sequins, and never leave the dressing room. That throaty laugh that follows could melt steel. I behaved, well, mostly. But if I'd let myself go, oh, the scandals you'd still be writing about. I was the blonde angel of ABBA on stage. But behind closed doors, I had thoughts that would have made the tabloids explode. She throws back her head with wild abandon. These 7 men, singers, icons, devils in leather and silk, they made me want to sin. And at 75, I don't give a damn who knows it. The first confession comes with a laugh that borders on wicked. Benny Anderson. Yes, Benny. Everyone always thought of him as the musical genius behind ABBA, the man behind the piano. But I'll tell you a secret. Benny was dangerous in ways people never really saw. He had this boyish charm, that mischievous grin, and those fingers. My God, those fingers. Her voice dips lower, becoming almost confessional. You'd watch him play for hours and wonder what else those hands could do. Now, Benny and I were never a couple, not officially, but that didn't mean there weren't moments. The long rehearsals, the endless hours in the studio, nights when the line between the music and something else got awfully thin. She bites her lip, lost in memory. Sometimes he'd be at the piano, eyes locked on mine, and I swear he wasn't just playing notes. He was playing me. Every chord felt like a tease, every melody a dare, and I'd sit there, heart racing, wondering what would happen if I let him keep going. Her tone turns shameless now. There were nights after shows when we'd all have a drink and Benny would lean in close, smell of sweat and cologne still on him, hair wild from the lights. His hand would rest on my arm, maybe my knee, and I'd think, if I don't move right now, we're not making it back to our hotel rooms. The second name brings a dangerous smile to her lips. Andy Gibb. Oh, that beautiful boy, the Bee Gees' little brother with the voice of silk and the face of an angel. He wasn't just handsome, he was dangerously handsome. Young, wild, eyes that could melt you before he even opened his mouth to sing. She pauses, her smile turning absolutely wicked. Now Andy had a thing for me. That wasn't a secret. He practically wore it on his sleeve. And I'll admit it, I noticed. When we stood close, when he looked at me like I was the only woman in the room, it sent a shiver right through me. Her voice becomes sultry, scandalous. I was older, wiser, supposed to know better. But every time he leaned in with that grin, that soft voice, I thought, my God, if I let myself go, this boy would ruin me, and I'd love every minute of it. He sang love songs like they were private confessions, and I used to wonder what it would feel like if he sang one to me in bed. The third confession comes with pure mischief. Rod Stewart. Now there's a man who didn't just flirt. He lived in flirtation. He wore his lust like his leopard print trousers, tight, loud, and impossible to ignore. That wild hair, that gravel-soaked voice, the way he strutted across a room like he was already imagining you tangled up in his sheets. She leans forward like she's spilling state secrets. Rod didn't sing to crowds. He hunted in them. And when his eyes landed on you, God help you, because he wasn't asking. He was daring. And Lord, I wasn't immune. Her laugh becomes throaty, dangerous. There was one night I'll never forget. He cornered me after a performance, glass of champagne in his hand, and whispered something filthy in my ear that made me blush like a schoolgirl. Me, Agnetha from ABBA, who'd sung to crowds of tens of thousands. And there I was, biting my lip, praying nobody noticed the look on my face. The fourth revelation will shock even her most devoted fans. Annie Frid Lingstad, her smile turns absolutely scandalous. Frida? Yes, that Frida, my partner in crime on stage, the other half of our harmonies, and the woman I sometimes thought might undo me just by standing too close. Her voice drops to something almost hypnotic. We'd be in the middle of a performance, the lights blazing, the music pounding, and she'd lean into me for one of those harmonies. The heat of her, the smell of her perfume, the brush of her hair against mine. Lord, it was enough to make me forget my cue. She lets out a slow laugh, shaking her head. People saw the sparkle between us, and they thought it was just stage magic. But I'll tell you, there were times it wasn't acting. Not even close. Frida had this fire, this energy, like she was daring me to step over a line I knew I wasn't supposed to cross. And every time we locked eyes, I wanted to. The fifth name brings pure, unapologetic desire. Tom Jones. My God, that man could sing you out of your clothes before you even realized what was happening. That voice wasn't just music. It was a command. Smooth, rough, sinful, all rolled into one. When he sang, you knew he wasn't talking about dancing. He was talking about something else entirely. She chuckles, low and dirty. Tom had that thing, that heat. He'd walk into a room, and women would practically melt into puddles at his feet. And I wasn't made of stone. I remember once at a party, he brushed past me, leaned in close, and the way his breath hit my neck, the way his hand lingered on the small of my back. Lord, I nearly dropped my champagne. Her smile turns predatory. Tom was pure animal energy, and he knew exactly how to use it. If he'd ever pulled me into a corner, hummed one of those songs low in my ear, I wouldn't have stood a chance. The man didn't just sing about love and lust, he was love and lust. The sixth confession carries the weight of ultimate temptation. Elvis Presley. She exhales like even saying his name is dangerous. Elvis, the king. He wasn't just a singer. He was temptation walking around in leather and rhinestones. I never had the chance to sing with him, but Lord knows I imagined it more times than I'll ever admit. Her voice becomes dreamy, distant. He had that presence. When Elvis walked into a room, every other man disappeared. He prowled. He didn't just move. And those eyes, they could strip you bare without him even touching you. She laughed softly, scandalously. I used to dream about what it would be like. The two of us backstage, the crowd still roaring outside, him leaning close with that low drawl of his. Elvis could make a woman feel like the only person alive, even in a crowd of thousands. The final name brings a smile that belongs to a much more dangerous woman, David Bowie. Her eyes go distant, like she's picturing something forbidden. Now there was a man who didn't just walk into a room. He floated into it like he belonged to another world entirely. And maybe he did. The eyes, the sharp cheekbones, that voice, low, hypnotic, dangerous. Her smile turns absolutely wicked. I met him once at an event, and it was like being caught in a spell. He had this way of looking at you, like he saw everything you were hiding and loved you more for it. I remember thinking, this man could convince me to do anything, and I'd thank him after. She leans in, voice dropping into pure scandal. Bowie had that reputation. Wild nights, beautiful people, excess everywhere. He carried it with such ease, though, like it was natural to him. If he'd ever leaned in close, whispered one of those lyrics against my ear, I don't think I'd have lasted more than a minute before giving in. As Agnetha finishes her confessions, something extraordinary has happened. The Swedish angel has revealed herself to be far more devil than anyone imagined. These weren't just idle fantasies. They were the secret fires that burned behind every innocent smile, every wholesome harmony, every moment when the world thought they knew exactly who she was. At 75, Agnetha Fältskog has finally told the truth. Behind ABBA's Golden Girl was a woman who knew exactly what she wanted and wasn't afraid to dream about getting it. 7 men who could have made the dancing queen forget every step she'd ever learned. The most shocking revelation of all? she's not done remembering.